Hi guys, I was just sitting around and had realized Pecos had sent in a story. I'm going to go ahead and read to y'all. This will be reading the email that he sent, so if I'm not staring directly at you, then that's because I'm reading the story, which is actually behind. But I'm going to go ahead and share this story with you. I'd like to get your all's thoughts and views on it. He says, "Hi Mike, just sitting here watching the rain fall and thought I would tell you about the experience I had down at Panther Creek. It's not a long story, but it's an encounter just the same. I was down in the river bottoms visiting a few of my favorite spots where I picked up pecans, and I had already had about 10 or so pounds in the truck. But I knew of one really good spot I wanted to go before I went home. It was over by the old school, and I knew I had to get around the creek if it was up. It was either going to be a long walk or a short one, depending on the water level on the creek. That area right there can be up or down in just a matter of time, depending on the rain around here. When I arrived, I walked down by the creek, and the water was quite a bit lower than I had thought. Now, you need to understand how those old creeks down there are. They can be deceiving by the way they look when they're dry. The mud looks cracked with deep cracks around them. It's smart to take a stick and push down on the mud before you take your next step. I know this from experience. I've lost more than one pair of shoes in that old creek mud. You would think that all of these years trampling down there that I would learn to just walk around to the safer place to cross. Now my son, he experienced that last year while we were fishing down at the place we go to. He was walking along, and the next thing he knew, he was just up to his waist, and my actual brother-in-law had to pull him out. So it will suck you straight in down there. It'll look dry as a bone, and you'll be walking, the next thing you know, you're just down and in trouble. But he says, on this day, I really didn't have much daylight to work with. So I looked around and found me a stick and started walking slowly across the dry mud in the creek. Pushing the stick down at every step, it was getting harder to move, so I moved a little quicker. I was about 20 or so steps from the other side and pushed my stick down until it went all the way down. At that time, I was one arm down in the mud, and I was sinking at my feet. It's a scary feeling when you know that creek gumbo is sucking you down every time you move. I was scared, but I had been in this situation before. But by the time I would get one leg up to the other would be sinking deeper. Shoes were already gone, pulled off by the sucking mud. I was up to my straddle with one leg out. Every time I pulled up, I just got sucked down again. It was getting late, and only had about 45 minutes of light left. A little worried now, I remembered asking the Lord for help, and it wasn't 10 minutes later that something started throwing sticks at me. They never hit me, but it was strange. There were probably 10 or so sticks around me, but nothing big enough to help me out of the mud. It was darker now, and I knew I was going to be there all night if the mud didn't pull me completely under. I started talking to whoever or whatever was throwing sticks. I never seen anyone or anything, and then I felt a large stick on my arm. It was a larger stick, probably 2 inches or so in diameter, big enough that I could put it across the front of me and slowly pull myself up out of the mud, and it made the hard bank. I couldn't see anything, it was dark. I didn't hear any movement. I just said thank you to the Lord, and then out loud said thank you. No flashlight, no boots, no pecans, and covered in thick mud. For those not familiar with this mud down there, it is like the thickness of a heavy wheel grease. It's hard to get off you, and you might as well throw your clothes away because it won't come out. I started off poking my way around the creek, could barely see anything to walk, but finally made it to the truck about an hour later. What an experience. I didn't care at that point how muddy my seats were going to be. I just wanted out of those damn clothes. Those bottoms, smart enough to do such a thing, except it was a man. There's nothing in those bottoms, he said, smart enough to do that, except for a man, maybe. If it was a man, I think he would have shown himself. I didn't see what it was, but what or whoever it was, I am thankful. I meant no harm and was intelligent enough to know how to help me out of a potentially bad situation. There is other stories of Bigfoot helping people. There was a kid that had been abducted, and the only thing the kid could say, which was a young child, was a large cat had him, and that the large cat had scratched him. I don't believe it was an intentional, hurting him. I believe maybe it was play. That's why I have a lot of questions about, is it killing people on purpose or is it playing? But you would think over time, if it's doing this, and what is it, over 1,600 people, I think, missing in the 411 videos, that whatever this is would eventually learn that, hey, I'm playing too rough, or I'm doing something wrong here, and I'm, causing the demise of people. But it's an interesting story. He said this all started in 1972, which was a little while back. So he has quite a few stories. I know he was avid in the woods a lot. I've been to the woods with him a lot. I've been to some secret spots we have, and some spots we won't share with people, some spots we will. But I know where he's talking about pretty much right now, and I'm not going to go into where that's at. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want that to be told, because I just know there's certain areas down there we don't want, just trampled by people, that we actually go to enjoy certain things. But again, a really awesome story, and I'm hoping he's got some more photos he'll be sharing with us soon. And I know y'all really like those. When he sends the photos, we really get a lot of emails. I think I've got one more story left he sent I'll try to get out. But I appreciate each and every one of you watching. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe so you can help support us, and you don't miss the newest videos that's coming out. Hit the bell, it'll notify you as soon as we release some new videos. Appreciate each and every one of you watching. God bless, and we'll see you next time.